What is up, guys? Friendships Magic here, bringing you a tutorial in Sony Vegas Pro 9.0. I just wanted to start off my series of tutorials with just the basics of editing and like clip selection and what you should do when you are selecting clips, and when you put a clip down for sequences such as action, what you should probably do. This is my overall methods. You don't have to necessarily agree with me. Depending upon like what clips I use and everything and how I do it. But I'll just give a couple of tips and everything as far as transitions go between clips and, of course, of movements. I want to first start off with the beginning of, if you are going to create a trailer, make sure you always have the developer and publisher and such at the beginning, or you could run into some issues. I've had a couple of people that I know actually run into issues with that. They just that little detail at the beginning first. And let's first get into what you want to do with a trailer. What you want to make sure you do is that you encompass everything that the game pretty much entails. So, like, what are the main key points of the game that you want to think about? You want to, like with Battlefield 4, you want to think about the sheer massiveness of the game. You want to, of course, incorporate some gameplays with the first-person shooting and everything from the player's perspective. And you also want to try and show some cinematics as well, because cinematics, of course, are key to when it comes to the campaign, and people are going to want to know how the campaign looks and see some of the characters, like right here. And let's just get into some ideas that I came up with the transitions for the Battlefield 4 fan-made trailer I made. You'll notice here that I have a lot of fade outs here, and I can probably play it here real quick, and let's see if it doesn't. You hear the dun 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 dun. When you hear a kind of like beats like that, you want to sometimes do like I did right here. You want to usually put, like right where I'm pointing, a fade in and a fade out between the clips, because it just flows so much nicer. Because the beats are a little more drawn out. They're like dun 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 dun. They're not dun 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 dun. If it's dun 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 dun, you probably want more of a flash kind of effect. But if the notes are more drawn out, like dun 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 dun, you might want more of a fade in, fade out to black kind of movement. And as you'll see, I actually have up here, this is what they call a TV simulation effect. I can go over here to the TV simulator. TV simulator, I have the bad sync and the TV look. I usually just go with the bad sync, because then I get an idea of what it's going to look like with the bad sync, and I can adjust accordingly. Just the TV look, it doesn't provide everything like the line sync and vertical sync and such. So let's split this clip here and try putting the bad sync on this one. As you can see, oh, it's all convoluted and stuff and all messed up looking. What I did here was, the reason why I have the, the interlacing the way it is because with Battlefield, it's about technology and technological advances and such. And changing it to the interlacing without the aperture grill, let me just lower that a bit. We'll get rid of the aperture grill. Phosphorescence, it doesn't really matter with the phosphorescence. You want a bit of a change with the clip, but the phosphorescence is really just going to make it lighter, and you're probably not going to really care for that. Scan phasing probably isn't going to be noticed at this low of a level right here. But of course, you don't want it to go all the way up here, because it will go way too fast and it just looks terrible. So we're going to do that with the interlacing. Let's see right here. We're going to, let's go back up, video event effects. Let's get that line sync up all the way, and let's get the vertical sync correct. And there we go, we have the interlacing. Let's do a little bit less, and there you go. It's almost like it's from the viewpoint of some kind of vehicle from the ground now. So if you wanted to do that, it could look kind of cool. I mean, you don't want to go from this, have it normal, and then go all of a sudden to the interlacing, just simply because we're trying to make it from the viewpoint of a vehicle. So if we wanted it from the viewpoint of a vehicle, we'd take the interlacing and put it on this clip as well. So that's just some ideas as far as interlacing goes. as far as like technology goes in video. Like if you've watched my Assassin's Creed trailer video, you'll notice I did like no such interlacing or TV simulation because it just simply doesn't work. The time period that it's in, it just doesn't fit. So you don't want to really do that. And so we got right here, you'll notice that there's a little bit of an overlay here. I'm going to play it real quick. Hopefully it plays correctly. The transition went from being in an aircraft to being on the sea. But see how it transitions here. You got the cockpit and the shape of the vehicle, the water vehicle, are essentially close to being the same, and I overlaid it in such a way that they would be in the same position. As you can see here, here's the shape of the cockpit of your aircraft. Then you move here, and you got the same sort of shape right there with the overlay. If you notice that you see shapes that are really similar in two different clips, you might want to try and do that with the transition so that it flows nicely. And it also shows diversity in the game as well. So let's that was a little brief there with that, but that's just one of the ideas. And of course I went to different things such as the different watercrafts, different positions, showing first you can have it from this perspective, from the gun, and then you have it from this perspective of the driver. So it changes. So you want to show so I showed two different clips of two different perspectives. So it's two different things you can do in the game. You want to show that kind of stuff. And also, here's the kill where the guy gets knocked down, just to add to the epicness, you know? Let's move on then. We got some more gameplay here. We got a melee combat. You'll notice that in the video, I have a lot of different melee combats, different ways to assassinate an enemy. This one, you bring the guy to the ground, stab him in the chest. There's another one where you go up behind, stab him in the throat. You want to show those different transitions, those different assassinations, because it shows variety, diversity in the game. Think of like how Assassin's Creed, the first game, was, and how some people, they found it so monotonous because it was the same thing over and over again, and the kills looked the same and everything, and it just got old. As cool as it was at first, it just had the same thing going on. So you want to show as much as going on as possible with the game. You know, we have here a cutscene moving nicely. You might want to, like, as you can see, I'm extending the clips out. I'm zooming in on them. You want to see really where the big notes are hit. And you want to hit them hard. You want to hit them with explosions. You want to hit them with something good, like right here. Boom! You got the boom. You want to show that explosion. And you want to make sure you keep the sound of the explosion, too. And right here, we've got, of course, an aircraft flying by. We have enemy being fought. More on the water. And let's move to something else. Notice here how I don't have a fade in and a fade out between the two clips. Like last time, I had a fade in right around here, and then a fade out for this clip. But for some reason, I only have fade outs on all the clips. Now, what is the reason for this? Well, let's play the clip real quick. It's because they were hit heavier. They were hit much heavier. You can hear a difference. The notes were hit much heavier. And when notes are hit heavier, you want the appearance of the next clip to appear faster. But it's still a beat, though. You still got those beats there. So in order to compensate for that fact that you have beats, you want to do a fade out kind of effect, a very quick one, not too slow, not too fast. But this is about right here is where you're going to want it, of course, depending upon the size of the clip. But this is the way you're going to probably want its size to be. So you go like this, and then you got the explosion. A very nice explosion with another transition right here to here. Now, why did I do that with the explosion and here? It just flowed better. In all honesty, a lot of editing in the end will be trial and error sometimes. Sometimes you're going to have to test them out. Sometimes you can't really tell when a beat is extremely heavy or if it's just a little bit softer. If you can't tell the real difference, just try both. Try both out, because the worst thing that's going to happen is you're just going to have to hit the undo button. That's all it really is. You can just test it out on 2 clips, 2 or 3 clips maybe. If it doesn't work out, just go up here and hit the undo. That's all you have to do. Now let's see where we're going to move to next. Mostly the stuff I'm going to talk about is the transitions. Like you'll notice this flash here. This is an interesting one right here. Let's try it right here. It did a whoosh kind of sound. So what I did with this flash is I did something a little interesting with this flash here. I didn't just make it a flash. I added something else. I went up here. Go to video effects. I'm already in there. All right. We're already in video effects. So you want to try something a little different because it does that whooshing kind of sound. Just a simple flash, a hard flash. There's a difference between a hard flash and a soft flash. A hard flash is for those heavy beats, like I said before, and a soft flash is more for these whooshing kind of effects. And I took it a little bit of a step further with this one. I changed the, I added glow. A very soft, white, soft glow to this one right here. I'm going to show you again. And then it goes into the next clip and flashes. This one right here is a hard flash. It is much harder. It comes much faster. This one, added with the glow, is a much softer one. It's soft, it takes a little bit longer, and then we'll go to this one. It just, bam, shows up right there. I hope I'm explaining this a little bit clear enough to you guys. I'm trying to do it as best as I can. It's very difficult. It takes a lot of practice. I'm by no means a professional with this, but I am a veteran with it. I have used it for many years. But just think of it this way. When you have a whooshing kind of sound, like this one, instead of like a beat, you might want to consider adding a bit of a soft glow to it and a softer flash. And then you add another flash to this one, because then you have the blackness here. So you flash, and then it's got blackness. Very brief. And then boom! There it is. The flash also is associated with the explosion. So if you can, explosions, bursts from a gun are always good to go along with flashes. So if you have a gun firing, perhaps, and you have a beat with the gun, you could even flash along with the muzzle flashes and along with the beat at the same time. If you could do that, that's very good. Like right here, you don't want to do it here. There's the gun going off and everything. If I flashed every time the gun went off, it would be completely obnoxious and I'd give everybody a seizure. And of course, here we have another one with an overlay. Transitioning between the guns. Showing the same perspective, but showing a different setting. And transitioning the guns at the same time, because they're both in the same position of the screen. If you notice that something is the same shape, or relatively the same shape, and is in the same portion of the screen, your pretty much safe bet is to go with this, a partial overlay. I think that's what it's called. Don't hold me to that. I call them overlays when clips overlap like that. I call it an overlay. So just don't hold me to that. And then we have right here, boom, boom, boom. It goes dun, 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 dun. Now, why did I do this? Right here, TV simulation effect. For some reason here, normal, and here we have a TV simulation effect, and then here it's normal. This, the reason why, is because it's not because they did it in other Battlefield trailers, did something similar to like this right here with the TV simulation effect. This is also incorporated with technology. The crashing and then the viewpoint changing and the shaking is indicating that this person who is witnessing this explosion, their comms or their visuals have been distorted in some way. And it adds more impact to the clip because this person is feeling more of an impact because of the shaking, and then like you could picture them wearing some kind of a mechanical device to their eyes, like a scanner or something. And the force of the explosion is affecting that gadget in some way. And it makes it more powerful because not only is this person getting disoriented by seeing this explosion, but you can see that the gadgets are as well, which makes it stronger. Now, we have a transition here. This is normal. What do we have here? Let's double check this one real quick. Slow motion effect. This is interesting. We went from here to a cinematic, and I faded it in. I faded this out and faded it in for a reason. Because it has the dun 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 dun. But then we have it coming up on this. Dun, 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 dun. It's moving up. Because you'll notice here on the audio track, look how much larger it is right here, and softer it is right here. And then all of a sudden it goes boom. That's a good time to do a slow motion effect, because all of a sudden everything's getting softer and slower. So smaller, slower, bigger, faster. Not only that, but since it's going from softer to loud almost immediately, it's a good idea to use a slow motion effect. Because right here, and then all of a sudden, I sped it up to its normal pace right here on this clip. Sped it up because it went boom, we're getting back into the action again. This is going slower, indicating that there is, not slower, softer, indicating a stop to the action. You may have noticed in school how they've talked about rising action and climax. Well, here's your rising action of these two clips. Here's your climax, going fast again. And then you have your falling action right here towards the clip's end. So that's how it works. Think of it as rising action, then think of it as climax, falling action. That's the way you can think of it. So try slow motion effects. Just practice it. Try slow motion effects when it goes from loud to soft and then a big loud all of a sudden. Try that with some clips if you want to sometime. Right here we have the disorientation effect once again. This dam is being destroyed, and the reason why I chose this dam is to show the destructible environments of the game. Again, this is a trailer. You want to show everything you possibly can. Right here, you also want to make sure that clips are associated with each other. What I mean by associated with each other is, I took all vehicles, and you'll notice that vehicle clips are all in succession with each other. And I show every different kind of vehicle I possibly get my hands on. Right here, the reason why I did a TV sim is because it looked cool. That's the only reason why. It just looked like a really cool perspective, like somebody was actually looking through some kind of technological device. So we're showing all the vehicles, and then we move again to the first person perspective. And then we move to another slow motion effect. And then the flash. Whoosh! Let's do it again. You hear that? There it is. You hear it. And then all of a sudden, it's bam. Now, why is there not a flash here? Well, simply because the flash is the explosion itself. If I put a flash there, you would have never seen that explosion there. You would have just seen the chaos. So I used the clip to my advantage and made the explosion my flash, making it much more effective. And here, of course, slow motion, be careful with it. If you go too slow with the slow motion, it'll get choppy, like this. Oh, wait. Nope, I've already extended the clip to its extent. But anyway, if you have a slightly larger clip and you bring it too far, it'll get choppy. So you don't want to do that. Let's move along in the clips. Movement in clips. Here's another thing. You don't want to make each clip go along with each and every beat. It gets monotonous. So what you can do is use the movements of the character in a clip to go along with the beats. Here we go. Let's do it again. It goes right here, big beat right here. Dun 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 dun. So here we go. Dun dun. His movement is going along with the beat. The movements go along with the beat instead. So every once in a while, you want to make sure that you don't make every single clip go along with the beat. If you did that, it would just be the same length clips. It would get boring, and honestly, your editing would get, if I want to be completely honest, it would get tiresome for people. People wouldn't want to watch it. I had the dunt, 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 dunt. His movement goes along with it. Dunt, 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 dunt. His movement was moving along with the beats. If you play the clip over and over again, you'll notice it. If you ever want to go back to my video and just replay some clips every once in a while, you'll notice that the movements are going along with the beats. Now let's see if we can move on here. In the original trailer, this helicopter did not exist. I switched the helicopters out simply because in the original trailer, if you see the multiplayer trailer for Battlefield 4, you'll notice that there's a helicopter falling, or there's an area where there's somebody shouting about a helicopter, but you don't really see who's saying it. So I took these guys here, had them talking, and then have them mention the helicopter. So it's indicating that they're the ones mentioning the helicopter in the car. Because in the original trailer, you hear them talking and yelling at each other, but you never really see who's doing it. And here, there's just so much chaos, and they're rushing, and they're desperate. And it makes it seem much more realistic to have them shouting. So if you go to the original trailer, you'll notice that. Another one here, another transition. We have them in the car, and then just flash to the water vehicle. And it's also in the same graphics, is the way I want to say it. Because if I had just taken this clip in the car and used it with one with gameplay and not a cinematic, it wouldn't have looked nearly as nice. So just make sure that clips that go together and like transition together have the same graphics, have the same, I want to say the same tone, the same, like, for instance, this is dark. This is also dark. And they're also sharing the flash. The reason why they're sharing the flash is because they are both dark. So think of it that way as well with flashes. If you're going to do flashes, if they're both dark, you probably want to have them share the flash on each clip. Just a suggestion. It doesn't always work, but that's usually the safe bet. We have, getting into the, I've talked to your guys' ears off probably so much right now. But basically, we have another one here, another melee attack. This is completely different. We have explosions. Just think about it this way. I'm going to just basically give you guys the gist of what it is about making a trailer that makes a trailer exciting and enjoyable and also makes you want to get the game. Again, destructible environments I have here. Right here. Vehicles. Next clip, cinematic. So at the end of the video, I incorporated everything about the game that you learned in the trailer. Think of it as writing a paper for your language class. I'm sure most of you have taken a language class and know that you have an introduction, a thesis, you have your paragraphs that describe the thesis and your introduction, and then you have your conclusion. And your conclusion is basically a restatement of your thesis. So basically, I have a thesis throughout this, and that's the beginning, showing the gameplay, showing what it's going to be about, what my trailer is going to entail. And then the bulk of it is the paragraphs. The paragraphs are what is going to show everything about the game, showing explosions, making you excited, making you interested, and then the conclusion encompasses all of that in a very brief time. So I have destructible environments included here. I also have first-person perspective. I got explosions, make it exciting, showing different kinds of weapons right here, right here. You'll see when he's running, and right here we have an RPG, and right here we have another weapon, and then right here another weapon. So I'm showing you all the different kinds of weapons as well. And I'm showing you that first-person perspective and the actual gameplay. Then I'm showing you a cinematic from the showing you a scene from the campaign, I'm sorry. Then showing you the destructible environments, vehicles, and the cinematic. So I encompassed everything. In this small area right here, I encompassed everything pretty much that my trailer discussed. And that's what you want to make sure with your trailer. And then, of course, you have the ending right here. End it with a bang, and then make sure it's silent. Just silence, let them take it in. Let them take in the silence. Let them think about it. It's like their mind is like they're unconsciously thinking about what they just saw. The epicness they just saw. So you want to make sure that this is silent and keep them watching, because you still have video going, but it's silent, and they got time to like pretty much collect themselves once it's done. So that's pretty much the basics of video editing. You don't want to just go along with the beats if you can, with those long drawn out beats. You want to fade in, fade out with black, usually most of the time. If they're heavier notes, you're probably going to want to do a flash. And if they are the same colors, like the same tone, then you want to share a flash on each one. So that's basically it. Let's go to the introduction real quick. One more thing. Why did I start with this? I started with the epicness immediately. This takes the viewer off guard. It's like, oh shit. And then the viewer's thinking, oh shit, that thing is coming right at him. And then why did I start under the water? Well, I started under the water because it's to indicate these guys may be sunk, perhaps. Think of it as telling a story when you're doing your transitions. And then rising up, and this is their army. That's how I get you into it. And there's the thesis, showing you a bunch of stuff that's going on. Here's my thesis. Small area is a thesis, big area is your paragraphs, and then this other small area is your last paragraph, your conclusion. I hope this video helped you out a little bit, guys, with some of the basics of editing. Explosions are always good. Action is always good, and you want to make sure you show diversity. Don't just go along with the beat the entire time, or each clip's going to be pretty much the same length, because beats repeat themselves, and you don't want too much repetition. So make sure that you show something like this. So see, we have the beats here. It's pretty much the same beats here, but all the clips are different, and it draws you in. I hope this tutorial helped you out, guys. I plan on doing more specific tutorials in the future, but I just wanted to show you something basic, how I view editing, and just a way that you guys can view editing, and how you guys can edit a video if you so choose. So I'm pretty advanced with most of the stuff I do. Masking is extremely difficult for video games. You can do masking, it's very tough. Cookie cutter is not very useful. Defocus is typically good for disorientation. Like if somebody is disoriented perhaps and is getting up, you could use a sort of a defocus. I'm getting off track here, guys. I don't want to talk too much and put too much on your plate to think about. So I'm going to end the video here. If you guys have anything that you want to know about a video that I made, a trailer, or if you want to know how to edit something a certain way, or you need some help with something, feel free to message me in my personal message box on YouTube, or add me on Skype, and I will see what I can do to help you out and with suggestions and everything, because I really want to help you guys out. I want to be able to give back to you guys, my subscribers. You guys are absolutely awesome. I mean, those of you, I know I have a lot of inactives on my channel, but those of you who have been so active on the channel, and I hope you guys are enjoying the content, you guys rock. You guys are awesome. And also, we have 100 subscribers. So excited. I'm so happy about this 100 subscribers. I am very excited. Very, very excited. This is a hobby right now, but it's also a dream. And you guys are also making that dream happen by watching my videos and commenting on them and giving me that feedback. You guys are the best. You are the absolute best. I love you guys. You are awesome. Feel free to message me, ask me any questions whatsoever. It is the least I can do for what you have done for me so far. So thank you again, and I will see you guys later. Have a great day.